$100 million. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the channel. So, Overwatch 2 has made $100 million in its launch quarter. What I want to do in this video is try and break down the way Overwatch 2 is designed to make money and what this means for us, and also what's probably going to happen in the future when it comes to monetization. You guys know monetization of Overwatch 2 is one of my favorite topics. So let's take a look at this. So the Activision Blizzard fourth quarter of 2022 financial results were revealed on the 6th of February 2023. And these are the key takeaways. The fourth quarter net bookings grew 43% year over year to a quarterly record. Fourth quarter mobile net bookings grew mid-teens year over year, and fourth quarter in-game net bookings grew 46% year over year. And of course, that final point is microtransactions, in-game sales, and all of that stuff. So Blizzard is saying here, or Activision Blizzard combined, remember this is Activision, Blizzard, and King all combined together. They're saying they've actually had their best quarterly record ever. So we're Overwatch 2 fans on this channel, so let's take a look at the Overwatch specific information. So they say this under the Blizzard section. Blizzard segment revenue and operating income grew approximately 90% year over year in the fourth quarter as our teams executed against a substantial pipeline to deliver well-received content across key intellectual properties. Warcraft, Overwatch, and Diablo grew strongly year over year and each delivered over 100 million in net bookings. So we know each one of these franchises has made over 100 million in net bookings in Q4 of 2022, right? So that's the takeaway here. Now, of course, World of Warcraft had an expansion which was very well received. It's a really good expansion. That came out. That's obviously made a ton of money. But how did Overwatch make money? Well, hang on a minute. Let's just continue with this for a second. There's more specific Overwatch information in this. And they say the October launch of Overwatch 2 with a free-to-play model delivered the highest quarterly figures for player numbers and hours played in Overwatch history. Player investment is also off to a strong start, with fourth quarter in-game net bookings at the highest level to date for Overwatch. Now, that's the Battle Pass and the shop. The team is working on an ambitious slate of regular seasonal updates, including PvE content, to engage and expand the community, as well as other ways for new and existing players to experience the Overwatch universe longer term. So what this is saying here is they're committed to a long-term plan for Overwatch. So they've got a long-term monetization plan which revolves around new seasonal content and revolves around increasing microtransactions in the game. And this is obviously the case. It's a free-to-play game now. They need to make money some sort of way. And we know, yes, they've gone down this path of a battle pass and they've gone down the path of the shop. Skin prices have been very expensive, although they have reduced them for this season in some cases. Also, the battle pass has become much better this season because we've got the inclusion of Overwatch credits, which is before there was no way of earning any kind of credit. Now, that isn't the premium currency. It's just the old currency, I guess, for buying the old stuff in Overwatch 1, but it's still an upgrade. Anyway, what they're saying here is the most people ever have played Overwatch at any one given time. So they had very high in-game figures, very high player investment, the most they've ever had, which is microtransactions. But remember, Overwatch back in the old days of Overwatch 1, you had to buy the game and then you could just buy loot boxes. And loot box sales probably increased around seasonal events. But beyond that, the most of the money they generated was the box sales of the game. Whereas Overwatch 2, it's about Battle Pass sales and all of that stuff. So let's take a look at this, because Overwatch sales actually dramatically went up. The game was selling quite well, and this graphic here, it kind of shows you that the sales jumped drastically from May to June in 2022. Now, remember, in May, this was the first Overwatch Overwatch 2 beta that came out. Now, I think this is just a combination of Watchpoint pack pre-sales, probably included in this, and also people buying the old Overwatch because it was also like on offer. It was super cheap. Obviously, the game went free to play ultimately and all of that stuff, but if you did own Overwatch 1, you got access to all of the heroes in Overwatch 2, because if you remember, well, actually, maybe you guys don't really know this, but if you sign up to Overwatch right now, you don't get access to all the heroes. You have to go through this like new player experience to unlock the heroes and all of that stuff, whereas if you own the game in the past, you just got that all for free. So I think this here, when we look at this drastic sort of pump up of the numbers, it went from number 57 up to number 5 is sort of Watchpoint pack sales, Overwatch sales, and, you know, all of that combined together. But this is money they're making. And of course, we'll never know the amount of money they made off the Watchpoint packs going into launch of the game. But I think, well, obviously in Q4 of last year, that's probably where the bulk of the revenue came from, because most players that I've spoken to were kind of confused about the Watchpoint pack. They thought that was Overwatch 2. They didn't realize that the game was going free to play. And I think it was a bit cheeky on Blizzard's part to sort of obscure that a little bit, you know, because, hey, they want money. And at the end of the day, okay, you did get premium currency and you did get skins for the Watchpoint pack. But yeah, Overwatch sales increased, which was a good thing. So how many people are playing this game now? Well, we've actually got an updated figure, because you guys know I really love talking about how many people have played Overwatch 2 compared to Overwatch 1. Now, they said this in a blog about the defense matrix, which is the sort of, it's not really a system, it's a combination of systems. It's an initiative, I guess that's the word, of trying to keep player behavior in check in the game. And they say this: with the launch of Overwatch 2, we have welcomed over 40 million players, both returning and new to the world of Overwatch. So this is good news, right? You know, I always bang on about Overwatch 1 had 50 million players, but that was over the lifespan of the game. We already know that Overwatch 2 has now got 40 million and had the highest concurrent player numbers and the highest amount of player time in the game, and has made the most money out of any kind of microtransactions the game's ever had before. So things are going quite well, but there's still room to grow here, isn't there? And that's the thing. So let's take a look at some crazy figures. I think based off the 100 million in Q4 of last year, Overwatch could be a $400 million a year game. But is that actually enough money? And is that even accurate? Well, let's try and break this down here, because of course I don't have access to any kind of financial stats. We're just trying to sort of piece this together as we go along. So yeah, let's get ready for some Battle Pass clown mathematics, because it's my favorite topic. So if we say there are 40 million players who are playing the game right now, and 5% of those would equal 2 million players, and that is the percentage of players that buy the Battle Pass. That means you've got 2 million players that would spend around $50 a year. This is if you bought every single Battle Pass. Every 9 weeks, you buy a Battle Pass throughout the year. That's $50. That would mean $100 million in revenue there. So if they made $100 million off the Watchpoint pack towards the end of last year, and combined Battle Pass sales and shop sales, that made like about 100 mil. You can say that going throughout the whole of this year, they'll make 100 million if only 5% of players buy the Battle Pass. Now, of course, I don't know how many people buy the Battle Pass. It could be 2%. It could be 20%. We don't know. But just for argument's sake, let's take a look at this. So let's say 10% of players. So basically just double all the figures. So 10% of 40 million. We've got 4 million players. They all spend $50 each. That's 200 million. This might be more believable, because I think in free-to-play games, I mean, obviously, again, I don't know, but I get the impression, the very strong impression, that in free-to-play games, players, they have been trained from various other games, especially, I don't mean any disrespect when I say this, but younger gamers of my age find it difficult, I think, to just buy battle passes, because we're like, what? This is not how we're used to playing games. But younger gamers, dare I say it, the Zoomers, they've come through Fortnite, they've come through other games with battle passes, so to them it's normal to buy the battle pass every time it's available. So let's, like I said, if it was 10%, this might be really high, though it might not. It might be an unfeasible figure, but that's 200 million they would make a year. So this year, if we go with the 10% figure, Blizzard make 200 million off the battle pass. They need to make more money, but where are they going to make that from? Well, shop revenue. Now, this is something we don't have any details on. I cannot tell you, and there is no physical possible way of us working this out unless somebody at Blizzard leaked all of the financial data, which they never would do because you would go to jail for that, or Blizzard put this into a financial report because it was absolutely massive. Now, they haven't done that, so it isn't absolutely massive. Now, the other thing I will say is we've seen a lot of things going on with the shop. I've absolutely bashed the prices of the skins, the quality of the skins, and all of this stuff, right? Things are starting to get slightly better, but things are changing, and that shows you that what they've got as their existing system isn't good enough, and it needs to change. So a lot of effort is going into changing up the shop, trying to make it more profitable for Blizzard. But how do they do that, right? Well, they need better items, better packs, things that players actually want to buy. I believe that if you want to spend money in a game, you have to feel good doing it, right? You don't buy things that you don't like. If it makes you feel frustrated, you don't buy it, you don't want it. my argument against the battle pass in Overwatch's history so far has just been, well, you put heroes in it, so I have to buy it. Like, do I really want to buy it when it doesn't have heroes in? That's the big question, right? So rewards need to be better, but ignore the battle pass for a second. We go back to the shop. They need better items for sale in the shop. I think when you look at things like souvenirs that are bundled together in packages, they're shit. No one wants a souvenir. Like, who the hell wants a souvenir? No one ever uses them. There's no time to use them in the game. They're just a crap emote. It's a generic emote with the same animation because it's just a different 3D model being spawned every time. It's not great, you know. So things need to change, and also prices as well, which they are playing with. You know, we've seen the reduction of some skins going down in price. We've seen increases in percentage off of skins and stuff like that. So shop revenue, I can't really put a figure on it. I don't know. I probably would say, again, this is me just pulling this out of my ass, basically, but it's probably less than Battle Pass revenue, but they're probably trying to get it up to the same level as the Battle Pass. So if this was 200 million a year, you've then got your 400 million, haven't you, if you add them together? There is a new kid on the block, though, this year, and it's the PvE missions. Now, this has been confirmed by Aaron Keller to be PvE mission packs. This was put in a bunch of interviews. He's been speaking about this quite a lot, and this is quite revealing because this probably means that we're going to get a battle pass with an additional paid extra, which is the PvE mission for whatever that battle pass is. I will be very surprised if the PvE missions are just in the battle pass and all you do is you spend the 1,000 credits to buy the battle pass. I don't think that'll happen. I think this will be something they sell. This could sell really, really well because this is what Overwatch 2 is about. Now, again, it depends on how much content is in this, what is the quality of it, how they deploy it. But what kind of figure could we attribute to this? Could this be 200, 300, 400 million of profit here? I don't know. That's probably, I'm probably going completely over the top there and we're getting a bit ridiculous because if we add what I've got so far of potential 200 million from the shop and potential 200 million from Battle Pass, well, then that's 400 million. If this was going to make another 400 million, we're getting close to like 800 million plus, and that's probably not going to happen. But this is something to be aware of because PvE is going to be the next way they make money. So when you look at it, you've got the Battle Pass, which you're knocking out a Battle Pass every 9 weeks. Players are buying that for $10 a pop. How many of them are buying that? We don't know, but we can guess. You've got the shop, which is constantly putting stuff into the shop. They're trying to change the prices, change the packs, change all of that to try and make as much money as possible. Again, we don't know how much that makes. Then you've got PvE missions coming in, which are going to be like some sort of DLC pack that you buy. And obviously, once you buy a PvE mission pack, you're probably going to keep buying them because you know, you're going to complete the story for whatever's going on. And also, it's probably going to be good content as well. That's the main thing here. Like, this is more appealing to me than like the Battle Pass, for example. So let's circle back to the Battle Pass. Battle Pass upgrades. This is something which I think is going to continually happen with Overwatch 2. If I was going to throw, like, harsh criticism at the Battle Pass, and I know I've done this to death with monetization of the game, the shop, and everything else, but the Battle Pass, I really do not know why they came out with a Battle Pass that was absolutely terrible. Like, to its peers in the industry, it was garbage. I mean, it was just terrible. I don't know why they didn't take the learnings from those other games. I mean, there's even people that were involved with Epic Games working on their Battle Pass for Fortnite that now work at Blizzard. Like, I don't know why they just didn't sort of, like, you know, jump the gun and go, well, okay, we're not starting at the rock bottom level. We're going to go in at this level because we know this works in other games. You know, there's reasons Apex does things. There's reasons Fortnite does things. Valorant does things in their Battle Pass. So let's look at copying that. And if we can implement it without causing frustration, then that's what we should do. Unfortunately, what we've got is a Battle Pass that came out that was bad, and then that was slightly upgraded, and then that's been slightly upgraded again. What I think would be interesting to see, and again, this is all with the power of hindsight, how would the sales figures for the Battle Pass look if the Battle Pass came out, the Season 3 Battle Pass, that is, was the Season 1 Battle Pass, and it had the currency in the Battle Pass, and these are the little bits and pieces. I'm sure that it's still taking heat because they're not generous in the Battle Pass at all, and a lot of the rewards are just kind of crap, like you're not going to use them, but it's definitely the best Battle Pass they've got, and this is the takeaway, right? It's getting better. I know people are like, well, yeah, everyone was always going to say this, everyone hates it, then slowly, oh, look, Blizzard are learning, they're getting better, but they are. It's just the way they've gone about it is just not very, it was just bad. But they are starting to change things. So, hey, Battle Pass upgrades, in a year's time, we could be sitting here going, oh, this is one of the better Battle Passes in gaming at that moment in time. Although, you know, that could be massive wishful thinking. And I think the final thing is better paid rewards. Now, in the shop, I touched on this earlier on in the video, who buys souvenirs? Like, I don't think anyone cares about souvenirs. They package them with other stuff to try and make the, you know, the bundles seem more interesting. Like, I think they just need to really keep... I mean, this is a difficult one, right? Because they just sit here and go, we need better rewards, make better skins. It's all subjective, right? Give us different things. Give us weapon skins. Give us, you know, there's a ton of different things they could do. Give us weapon animation, you know, things we could buy that alter the weapon inspect animations, which are not even in the game, but they are coming to the game at some point because they were in the trailer for Overwatch 2, if you guys remember. Like, Cassidy inspects his gun. I mean, yeah, I think Arissa does as well. Where's all this stuff, you know? So, yeah, this is probably going to come down the line. And this probably goes hand in hand with better prices, you know? It's just that thing of, I want to feel good when I spend money on the game. I don't want to feel like I'm forced to do this, or this is too expensive, I'm not paying that much for that, you know? So there we go. In conclusion, what do we think about this? Well, when we look at Activision Blizzard as a whole, they really like billion-dollar-a-year franchises. Is Overwatch 2 a billion-dollar-a-year franchise at the moment? I don't think it is. It's made 100 million in its first quarter of operation, which is really good. Now, though, it's probably settling down, I guess, into a, you know, I would say 400 million a year is probably what it's going to generate, or maybe what they're targeting. Again, this could be complete crap. They could be making $1 billion a year. I don't know. But I think a good, reasonable guess based off everything I've blabbed about in this video is probably around that figure. You know, if they're making 200 million off the Battle Pass, where do they go from there, right? How do they increase their sales? We know Activision Blizzard want the sales increasing. Will PvE ram the sales through the stratosphere and everyone goes crazy because it's such an awesome game mode? Will PvE flop? That's the other thing as well. If PvE does flop, is this game sustainable at the money it's generating at the moment based on whatever it cost Blizzard to develop the game? These are all questions which are, you know, very hard to answer. But let me know what you think about this in the comments below, guys. I do find it quite interesting to step back and look at the... Like, in this video, I feel like I've looked at the game from almost like a... It's almost like an abstract point of view. It's like I've made this video as if I was just a general guy on the street who was like, oh, yeah, let's just check out Overwatch and see what they're doing. Not as someone who, you know, absolutely loves this game and wants this game to succeed. Because there's just... I think there's been a lot of foundational issues with the way the monetization has been designed in the game, which are just terrible. You know, like, I want to live to see the day where they go, heroes are not in the battle pass, but they're never going to do that because it's the cheap, easy way to make money, you know? So there are other ways of making money with the heroes, right? There's got to be. There is. But hey, whatever. Anyway, all right, guys, thank you for listening and watching the video. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. And like I've been saying in a lot of recent videos, do send me your replay codes to unitloss.com/overanalyzed. If you go there, there is a form you can fill out, send your replay codes through, because every time the game updates, I actually lose all the previous replay codes. All right, guys, thank you, and I will catch you lovely on the next one. See you soon.